Conferring an honorary doctoral degree is the highest honor a university bestows. I now call upon Dr. Kevin Hewitt, Chair of Senate, to present the candidate for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
It is now my great pleasure to describe some of the outstanding accomplishments of our honorary degree recipient, Sandra Irving. Sandra Irving is a woman of many passions, a champion of the transformative value of education, a leader in funding health research and care, and a powerful advocate for the outstanding contributions of Canadian academics. Her philanthropic and humanitarian interests are focused on affording individuals opportunities they would not otherwise have to study, to contribute, to succeed, and to thrive. In his letter of support for Sandra's nomination, former president of Acadia University, Ray Ivany, describes her as a person of both vision and action. Quote, a builder in the true sense of the term. Sandra makes everything she touches better, unquote. Sandra Irving was born in St. John, New Brunswick. She attended Acadia University and holds a Bachelor of Arts with distinction from the University of New Brunswick and a Master of Arts in Political Science from the University of Toronto. She's married to Arthur Irving, chairman of Irving Oil, and is the very proud mother of daughter Sarah Irving. Together, they call St. John home. Sandra's personal commitment to higher education is reflected in her heartfelt desire to help students realize their dreams, not only in providing financial support in scholarships and fellowships, but also in encouragement, in keeping in touch with every student scholar. She knows by name and meets often with undergraduate students at UNB St. John, Acadia, Dalhousie, St. Thomas, and Dartmouth. In order to support Atlantic Canadian graduate students at the University of Toronto, Arthur and Sandra Irving created the C. David Naylor Fellowships. One such recipient is Dalhousie student Katie Huang. Cancer research and care are also dear to Sandra Irving's heart. As a cancer survivor herself, she and her husband, together with their daughter Sarah, established the David P. Ryan, MD, Endowed Chair in Cancer Research, and the Arthur, Sandra, and Sarah Irving Fund in Gastrointestinal Immuno-Oncology. They also founded the Hutter Family Professorship in Medicine to support research and programs to support people with heart disease. Recently, they endowed an international symposium in immunotherapy to bring together the best researchers worldwide in the field, who will first meet in the summer of 2020. These initiatives are based at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, but their impact is worldwide. What this research means to cancer patients is immeasurable. Sandra was made an honorary fellow of the Royal Society of Canada in 2011. As chair of the Society's President's Advisory Council from 2006 to 2012, she promoted greater recognition of Canadian academics, especially the country's best professors and researchers, developed strategies for engaging youth and First Nations, and nurtured relationships between scholars and Atlantic Canadian universities. Sandra and Arthur Irving's generous donation led to the establishment of the Atlantic chapter of the Royal Society in 2008. A lover of dogs, Sandra and her family have contributed to the welcome and reception area and to healthcare at the Atlantic Vet College of UPEI. She has received honorary degrees from St. Thomas, Acadia, St. Mary's, and UNB, is a member of the Order of Canada, and has received Queen Elizabeth II Golden and Diamond Jubilee medals. In 2014, the Rotary Club of St. John awarded her the Paul Harris Fellowship for exemplifying the Rotary motto of, quote, service above self, unquote. Therefore, in recognition of her vision, generosity, and volunteerism, and for seeing philanthropy as not simply an investment in a fund or institution, but in people, I ask you, Madam Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, to bestow upon Sandra Irving the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do have a few formal words to make this all official. Sandra Irving, by virtue of the authority vested in me and in Dalhousie University, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations, Dr. Irving.
Thank you. To the graduating class of 2019, congratulations. It was wonderful to be up on the stage, to be that close to your smiles and your tears. To my husband Arthur and daughter Sarah, who are here today. Arthur, thank you for working hard your whole life to make our gifts to others possible. And to Sarah, for working hard on the business, yet always having time to help me in so many ways. And I'm so happy to be surrounded by my friends in the front row today. I feel so much love and support. So thank you, and thank you for your kind words as well. Thank you to President Peter McKinnon, the Senate, and Dalhousie community for this very special honor. When President McKinnon called me about receiving an honorary degree, he referenced my work with the Royal Society of Canada. For those of you who don't know, the Royal Society of Canada is not some elitist group. Instead, it is an esteemed organization that's been around since 1882 that honors our country's best scholars. In my work as president of the Advisory Council of RSC, my mantra was that our scholars are the rock-solid foundation of our country. And my heartfelt aspiration was to see more scholars from Down East recognized. Thus, our financial and moral support of the establishment of the Atlantic chapter of RSC. There is something to be said for cheering for the home team, and I think we need to do more of that. And so the September 11, 28 news headline reads, Dal celebrates the largest ever class of Royal Society of Canada honorees. And I know this says a lot about the quality of your university, your faculty, and the education you as students have received. In this context, thinking about leading researchers and scholars, I speak from the perspective of a cancer patient and a clinical trial participant. And so when I think about research, I think a lot about hope. I am reminded of a young patient in the Oncology Center and the message on his t-shirt. It reads, cancer patients need miracles, yes. Cancer patients need research. I want to tell you about an important research project that Arthur and Sarah and I believe in strongly. We were first introduced to immunotherapy in the summer of 2016 by a leading doctor in the field, and we are now supporting a chair in immuno-oncology and a team of 6 leading researchers in the field. We have recently endowed an annual immunotherapy symposium and are helping to craft a very unique platform where, for the first time, some 50 of the world's leading scholars will come together to talk about immunotherapy in treating cancer and saving lives. And so I want to talk about one such life that's close to home. It is a story of Stephen Saunders from Onslow Mountain, Nova Scotia, who, because of immunotherapy, now has a second chance at life. His non-Hodgkin lymphoma is, in fact, now in remission. Without the immunotherapy Mr. Saunders received at the Dana-Farber Hospital in Boston, his doctor told him he had just months to live. After 3.5 years of fighting a disease that 3 lines of chemo and a clinical trial were unable to cure. Mr. Saunders, in fact, became the first man in Nova Scotia to get public coverage for the significant costs of immunotherapy treatment away. And so I salute those in decision-making roles in health policy, because your kindness and generous spirit go a long way. Like medicine, your kindness is healing. I want to talk for a moment about kindness. We were at a dinner last night honoring a very close friend, Dr. Royden Jones, who passed away not long ago. He was a brilliant researcher, amazing teacher, and a leading neurologist. But what his fellow doctors wanted to most talk about in remembering him last night was his kindness. In remembering Dr. Jones last night, I, in fact, made reference to a quote by novelist Henry James, who talks about kindness. 3 things in human life are important, he says. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. My earliest recollection of kindness is my mother. She worked tirelessly to raise 7 children. I am proud to say I'm the youngest of 7, and in recent years, in my search for luck, 7 is a very good number. At lunchtime, every single day, a little boy who lived over the tracks would tap on our back step, and even though Mom was already feeding a full table of hungry children, she always had a lunch packed for him. Mom never looked for recognition. She was always kind, and she was kind when no one was watching. There is another short story about kindness I want to share with you from the New York Times. Perhaps you've read it. It is written from the perspective of a university admissions officer. The applicant, a young man from a public school in New Jersey, had the highest SAT scores, was head of student government, had a long list of other outstanding accomplishments, and received many accolades from teachers. It was not uncommon for admissions officers to receive supporting letters from leading businessmen, but this letter was different. It was from the custodian of the school. The custodian wrote that he was compelled to support this student's candidacy because of his thoughtfulness. The young man was the only person in the school who knew the names of every member of the janitorial staff. He turned off the lights in empty rooms, and he consistently thanked everyone who helped him in small ways and big ways, and he even tidied up after his peers. He was kind, even when no one was watching. This student, the custodian wrote, had respect for every single person in the school, regardless of position, popularity, or clout. You will want to know that out of 20,000 applications and 2,000 spots, this young man received the unanimous support of the admissions committee. It has been said that the greatest wisdom is kindness, and my message to you is to encourage you to find your passion in being kind, awakening each day and thinking of someone else besides yourself. I promise you this will bring you the greatest happiness. I'm really excited for you as you leave here today and go out into the world, but I'm a little bit worried about you too, and I'll tell you why. Statistics say that 50% of employees are not taking their paid vacation holidays because in a fiercely competitive work world, there is some fear of someone else taking your job or progressing up the ladder faster than you. I'm certainly not the example to follow in terms of life balance, as I had all the symptoms of being sick for almost a year, but I was too busy to seek medical help. And it was not until I suffered a major hemorrhage on my 60th birthday that my life came to a sudden halt with a serious cancer diagnosis. And so my message to you is, of course, to work really hard and earn respect, but not get too tired, because I know well that tired people get sick. And so my last thought, this is a happy one. Each year we support the Canadian Police Association Canine Trainers, and where RCMP and police and their working dogs from all over Canada gather. And this year it was proudly hosted in Halifax. And we are happy to support it because I love dogs. It is an intense, grueling few days of vigorous training to help police dogs be the smartest, fastest, and bravest when called on. I will leave you with the last sentence of the speech that was presented by RCMP Constable Bates at the closing dinner on Wednesday night. We are happy to attend and be there. I hope it has meaning for you in the same way it does for me. This message is from Constable Bates to his dog. "Buddy," he said, "I wish I had found more time to throw the ball for you." So thank you again for this very special honor. It means the world to me.